minutes, they peppered Belfour, but could not score. And I think we'll see the same attitude tonight. It'll be a test for the Hawks to avoid it.
The line that made the difference in Game 5 for Chicago is out. Nichols with Murphy and Craven combining for 6 points. Benoit Hogue starts with Randy Wood and Paul DiPietro for the Leafs. Chris Chelios and Gary Suter are on defense for Chicago. And an electric atmosphere again for Game 6 here at the Gardens as DiPietro lost control at the line, gets it back again. DiPietro fires out right on, and Belfour hangs on with Benoit Hogue in front of the net.
Well, the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm sure, talked about the first 10 or 12 minutes. Some of the things they can do to cope with what they knew would be a real opportunity for the Leafs to get ahead and get this crowd behind them. They have to dump that puck out into the neutral zone. Don't worry whether it's icing or not. Hold up the forecheckers on the shoot-in. Be ready physically for those kind of hits. Lots of whistles, lots of line changes. Don't allow the game to have any tempo to begin with, and no outnumbered rushes through the neutral zone. I am sure Daryl Sutter conveyed at least those messages to his Blackhawks.
Face off in the Chicago zone. Mike Ridley against Brent Sutter. Ridley with Matt Sundin, and they tie it right up from the face-off. And Mike Craig is out for the Leafs, and he replaces Mike Gartner out of the lineup tonight with a rib injury.
Well, Mike Craig has not played in a playoff game for the Leafs. Pat Burns is a hunch coach. He had a lot of people he could have put in when Gartner got hurt. His hunch was Craig. Let's see if it's right.
Ridley in front to Belfour with the stick check. Ridley down. Can't get a shot on. Craig on his first shift puts it in front again and creates a couple of scoring chances for Toronto.
Well, we knew the Leafs had come out on fire. They need the first goal, as Ron McLean mentioned in the opening. They play so much better when they score it. Here the draw is partially won. Craig's got it. Lets the shot go, and Ridley is poke checked by Belfour. A clever play. Not all good plays by goalies are saves. That was a good example. Pat Burns may have used an old Winston Churchill quote today to get his team ready. It's no use saying we are doing our best. We have to succeed in doing what's necessary.
Burns has Bill Berg out now with Rich Sutter and Kent Manderville. Sutter returning to the lineup for the Leafs for the first time since Game 2. The Hawks cleared down the ice, and here's a break for Craven. Gill with the check as Craven is sent into the boards. Craven down, and play is called.
Well, the Hawks will be looking for a tripping penalty on that, but the rule of thumb the referee goes by on those diving poke checks is if Todd Gill touched the puck before he tripped Craven, they don't call it. Let's look for it here. Gill dives and trips him without touching the puck and probably got away with what would have been a penalty. Todd Gill and Dave Ellett, who are the two premier point-producing defensemen for the Leafs, have 1 point between them in the first 5 games. They are 2 or 3 of 5 or 6 Leafs who have to start producing, and it has to be tonight.
4th change of the game for Pat Burns, and we've yet to see Doug Gilmour and Dave Andreychuk as Sundin comes back with Craig and Ridley in an offside called. But we are just a minute 21 into the game.
Well, Pat Burns, I'm sure, is trying to find out what kind of a reaction he'll get from Daryl Sutter, depending on what line he put out. Very rarely has DiPietro's line started a game this season, let alone these playoffs. I thought Doug Gilmour played one of his, if not his best game of the playoffs in Game 5 in Chicago. And maybe Burns is just letting them sit there a little bit and stew before he gets a chance to take over like he so often does in these big games.
Brent Sutter, Dirk Graham, Eric Daze for Chicago. Graham did not take the morning skate. Here's Craig at center. Sends it in on Belfour. Craig is after it and comes up with it along the boards. Puts it toward the net, but Gary Suter's there. Lost to Sundin. Here's Sundin firing, and that's blocked by Suter. Sundin centers it through the goal mouth. McCowan misses it, but Craig up with it again. Now it's picked off, and the veteran Brent Sutter clears it into the Leaf zone. Hawks making a change as Garth Butcher hands it off to defense partner McCowan. Pass goes off Denny Savard, and Savard sends it ahead. Here's Amati with Poulin, and Amati the blast, Poulin rebound! Big stop by Potvin. Smith can't keep it in, now clears it back in, offside, but that's a beauty save to open the game for Felix Potvin on the rebound.
Well, the first shot was not the one that was the most difficult one, but the rebound stop was superb. And Balfour and Potvin have hardly winced in this series. Balfour perhaps a little bit in the first game, not since. The two Leaf back-checking forwards couldn't catch the speedy Amante. See him coming in here, and Amante didn't get much on it. Potvin makes the stop.
And Patrick Poulin has not been able to solve Felix Potvin. Boy, he's had some great chances. Does have one goal, but a pile of great scoring chances and memorable Potvin saves on number 44. Here's Diddick, shot right on. Another rebound loose in front. Poulin has it. Drops it off to Denny Savard. And now the Hawks are pressuring the Leafs. Amati, who's been flying for the past couple of games, is grabbed by Gilmore, and the Leafs take over. Here's Gill, moving into the Chicago zone. Takes a look, Andrechuk trying to get loose. Puck comes in front, knocked down with a high stick by Savard to get a face-off.
I was wrong there saying Amani got the chance. It was Poulin, and here's a little clip we've got to show you what kind of luck he's had, or how Potvin has had his number. That was game 1. This is game 3, maybe the stop of the series for Potvin. In game 4, Poulin got in alone, tried to deke Potvin and couldn't. And then here, early in game 6, Poulin is thwarted by Potvin. Poulin's played well for Chicago, though.
Kenny Johnson sends it into the corner, and Jim Cummins for Chicago. A cross-ice pass. Grieva Krasov has it to the line, and Chancey in a step offside.
Well, the Leafs have scored 3 goals at home here. Not enough to win either game.
Inside the clock, working on it as the game continues here. Thought the pregame skate might be delayed. The clock was sitting at center ice at about 10 to 7 tonight. Here comes Gilmore leading the Leafs into the zone with Andrechuk and Domi. Pass behind the net. Domi's there, tied up. And Steve Smith comes up with the puck. Sends it out to center, and Kenny Johnson with it there. The Leaf rookie to Dave Ellett, still looking for his first point in the series. Gilmore knocked down at the line. Domi chases after it and knocks Nichols down after the icing call.
Well, the Leafs have had trouble getting to the puck on shoot-ins. So the forechecker that's going to retrieve it can hardly get by the big Leaf, or the big Hawk defenseman. Marinoff in, Jennings out, and of course Craig and Sutter in for Gardner and Warren Reichel. The Leafs have to get a little forechecking done. The puck was touched by Bernie Nichols to cause the icing, and Domi took him out anyway.
DiPietro against Bernie Nichols. And the Leafs get control from the draw. Last year, the Leafs took the Hawks out in 6. Chicago trying to return the favor here tonight. Just over 4 minutes gone. First period, we're scoreless. Benoit Hope moving it in to DiPietro on the backhand. Now spins, takes a look, and fires it around the boards. Hope jostling with Russell, and that buys time for Murray Craven. And up it comes to center for Nichols. Nichols on the right side to Joe Murphy. Cutting in, and the shot, and the rebound knocked wide as Potvin was coming off the short side post. Puck comes out and back in, offside the call.
I'm sure Pat Burns is a little concerned about the kind of chances the Hawks have had. 3 excellent scoring opportunities, all of them on the rush. And here's one of them as Murphy attempts to step inside McCowan and shoots the puck on the fly, and Potvin is forced to make one big stop with his pad and then take it away from Bernie Nichols on the rebound. Benoit Hogue back checks and got a bit of that puck, but Potvin's left some juicy rebounds lying around in the first 5 minutes of this game. Usually he's good at not giving big ones up.
Eric Weinrich +4 in this series to lead the Hawks. Sends it ahead, and Chicago fires it in. There's Murphy. He can't handle it off the boards, and Ridley. A lead pass too far for Mike Craig. Chelios will get back first, and another icing call. 4 seconds shy of the 5-minute mark in this first period.
Well, Chelios has been a tower of power on the defense for the Hawks. I didn't think he was quite as involved physically or on the rush in Game 5, and you have to wonder whether he might have a minor injury he's playing with. And you also might think that he's a little tired. He's always over the 31-minute mark, and in Game 4 played 36 minutes.
Daryl Sutter was talking about that time today, and he says Chelios is so smart on the ice that he reads the play so well, he can even conserve his energy at times while being out there. And he has looked fresh almost always throughout this series. He's been a horse for Chicago. Mironov dumping it in. Craig Sundin and Ridley, the forward unit for the Leafs against Daze, Sutter, and Graham. And here's the veteran Brent Sutter into the zone. Daze goes to the net, gets the rebound, and Potvin with 2 more saves. As the Hawks get another shot and rebound at the Leaf netminder.
Well, he doesn't want to be giving, Felix Potvin doesn't want to be giving a second chance on easy first shots. And he has on a couple of occasions tonight, and here's what I'm talking about. This was not a difficult stop, and the rebound came right out, and Dirk Graham nearly scored. Unlike Potvin to give those kind of rebounds, he's got big soft pads. One of his talents is, or pucks that hit him just fall in front where he can freeze it.
6-4, Hawks have the edge. Shots on goal. Gary Suter loads it up, fires, and that's a nice toe save by Potvin. Gary Suter with his 20th shot on goal in the series. He leads the Hawks in that category. Pass across ice, Mike Craig. Backhands it for Sundin. Tries to center it. Sutter there for Chicago. Ridley kicks it free. Craig fires. Toe save Belfour. Todd Gill moves in. Sundin's behind the net. Gary Suter has him tied up. Mike Craig takes it free, and Belfour will hang on.
Well, you have to admire the Hawks. Not only are they thwarting the Leafs' early surge, but they are getting better scoring opportunities, taking advantage of perhaps a Leaf team that's too exuberant and not thinking enough. But forechecking is the name of the game in the National Hockey League for a lot of teams. And if you can hurry the defenseman up, battle your way past the people holding you up, you can create a scoring chance. Mike Craig's been fairly energetic in his first 3 shifts in the playoffs for the Leafs. He's a big, strong guy who shows you 3 or 4 times a game that he could be a real useful player, then disappears and you don't see it again.
From the face-off, McCowan shot. Couple of feet off the target. Butcher at the other side. Andrechuk behind the net. Here's Andrechuk off his skate in front. And Amonte collects it for Chicago. Up ahead to Denny Savard. Here's Savard at the line. Diddick in the rush as well. Savard blasts it. Rebound. Poulin. And Felix Potvin down. Making another pair of saves. Andrechuk for Toronto. Rink wide. Domi at center. Ty Domi working against Diddick. And Diddick, or Steve Smith checked that. With the check out in front of the net. And ahead to Denny Savard. 6.5 minutes gone, first period. Savard back in. And offside is the call.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs have not been as diligent defensively as they usually are. And the Hawks are getting chances, and Potvin's giving them a bonus chance all the time. Poulin, who's had more clear-cut chances than any other player in this series, and yet to get a goal, had another one right there. Potvin looks awkward to me, but he's making the save.
Shots now 9-4 in favor of Chicago. So that opening 10-minute rush that we saw in games 3 and 4 for the Leafs, not happening here tonight.
4 of those 9 shots have been rebounds.
Bernie Nichols back in with Murphy. And Murray Craven. Craven gets it to Murphy, who lost his footing. Now Todd Gill tripping over Craven. Can't get it out of the zone. But it's underneath Gill and tied up for a face-off, and now the gloves get up into the faces of Gill and Murphy. Craven there. 7:07 gone. First period. It's scoreless in Toronto.
But these 4 guys do a good job and are really causing the Leafs some problems on the forecheck, being unable to get to the puck after the shoot-in.
The other nice thing for Daryl Sutter, with the exception of Jeremy Roenick, he has a healthy team and has had from game 1 to 6. Murphy brings it in offside. Craven trapped.
Well, Daryl Sutter, Rich Sutter, all the Sutters in this game, and there are 3 of them, Brent, with a heavy heart, as their brother was fired today as the coach of the Boston Bruins. I mentioned it to Daryl at 4:30 at the Gardens, and he didn't know it. So I felt I was the carrier of a lousy message.
And Dwayne Sutter's in the building as well.
Right, he coaches Indianapolis, the Hawk Farm team in the IHL, and he's here in the press box on the headset. So there's 4 of them here with a job and 1 in Boston without.
That's Brent Sutter trying to tie it up and now spring it free for Chicago. Draped along the boards by DiPietro, but Sutter, typical of the family, a real workhorse, almost got it in front, and Randy Wood will take over for the Leafs. Cross ice pass for Hogue. Now Jamie McCowan pounds it in, and Hogue will go after it. Todd Gill has it along the far boards. Hogue waiting for it behind the net, but Chelios is there. Taken away by DiPietro. Paul DiPietro just spun it back behind the net. Gary Suter with it. Up the boards for Daze. He pushes it ahead, and it's kicked forward to Chelios. Chris Chelios to the line. McCowan waiting for him there. Now Graham takes it away. Boulan can't get the shot off. And McCowan will lead the Leafs back. Here's Jamie McCowan to the line. Drops it off. Hope to Gilmore. The backhand covered by Belfour. And it's held by the Hawks for a face-off in the Chicago zone. And while they untie here, let's join Scotto.
Be clear on this then, if there's a game 7 of this series, you can play.
Right.
I got that right?
Right.
All right, maybe we'll see you in the next round.
Next round, hopefully.
Thanks, Jeremy. Chris?
I think I heard Jeremy telling Rich Sutter today he's about a week away. And the Hawks hoping they can give Jeremy Roenick a series to play in as they try to finish the Leafs off here tonight. 10:50 to go in this first period, still scoreless. Andrechuk at center. Gilmore was loose at the Chicago blue line. Pass didn't reach him. Belfour around the boards. There's Domi for the Leafs. Puts it back behind the net. Diddick is bumped by Gilmore. Ellen pinching in. Amonte gets it ahead. And now Nichols is after it at center ice. Here's 3 Hawks over the line. Bernie Nichols in, and he hit the side of the net. Craven on the other side. 3 points in game number 5 as pass doesn't get across. Andrechuk now missing Todd Gill. Puck sliding back into the Chicago zone and icing the call.
I think the Leafs have given up more clear-cut chances to score against them tonight in the first 10 minutes than they did in most of the games they've played. And often it has been a mistake that gave the Hawks an odd man advantage on the rush And here's an example right here. Nichols finally tries to go with the short side rather than make the pass, and he misses the net. Here's the shot on the short side, and you can see that it was off the side of the net.
So the face-off again in the Leaf zone, and Savard wins the drive. Comes back to Chelios and Suter. Another shot on goal, and Potvin covers that.
Well, I'm sure Pat Burns is worried about a number of things. Not only the good chances that the Hawks have had, they can't win many face-offs in their own zone. And if you start without the puck often enough, you're going to pay for it.
Game 5 in Chicago, the 100th playoff game of Pat Burns' career. Record now 52-48. Ridley now out to take the draw. Trying to atone for a -3 in Game 5. Suter doesn't get the shot through, and Bill Berg pushes it ahead. There's Rich Sutter on the near side, working in against Chelios. Belfour around the boards. Ridley after it there. Rich Sutter helping out against Poulin. It comes loose for the Leafs. Ridley gives chase. And now Berg is after it against Chelios. Bill Berg comes up with the puck. Gets it to Ridley. Chelios watching him. Sutter leaves it for Berg. And the puck doesn't get by Chelios, and the Hawks get it out to center. Cam Russell for Poulin. He can't control it. Ridley goes after it. Here's Mike Ridley. Wrist shot. And Belfour covered the short side. Bill Berg knocks his man down behind the net. And they fall on it for a face-off. It's underneath Weinrich.
Well, a big-time body check by Berg on Eric Weinrich. Weinrich falls on the puck for the face-off. The Leafs have lots of energy, but they're not being rewarded for it. The Hawks are poised in their own end and dangerous in the Leaf end. Ridley works hard to chip the puck off Poulin, chip the puck off Weinrich, but Belfour on a shot from just off the face-off dot makes a glove hand stop. Look where Belfour is, almost at the bottom of the circle. I'm sure Ridley couldn't see much of the net at all on that shot.
Scott Oak was telling me that Mike Ridley indirectly helping the Winnipeg Jet cause. They auctioned off one of his Capitals game jerseys today in their fundraising drive and collected over $1,000 for that. Mike, a native of Winnipeg.
Well, this game is developing like a lot of them have developed. Not many goals, excellent goaltending. Here's the smartest guy in Maple Leaf Gardens. He must be sitting in the end of the rink, and he's going to make sure nothing happens to him.
.908 to go here in the first period, and the fans trying to pick the Leafs up here. They've been outshot 11-6 so far.
And they've been outchanced 6-2. And 4 of those 6 chances have been glorious scoring opportunities.
Ridley back out with Sundin and Craig. Chelios bedded ahead. A Hawk trapped inside the line, so Chicago has to check up. And Dmitry Mironov back in the Leaf lineup, hands it off to Ridley. Daze takes him up. Gary Suter sends it back in on goal. Todd Gill, another Leaf defenseman without a point in the series. Fed ahead for Craig too far. Leafs trying that breakaway pass, and once again called for icing. 8.5 minutes to go here in the first period of Game 6. Only the second time in the last 5 years. And Nichols on this draw wins it back to Chelios. Gary Suter with some room, fakes the shot, moving in. Suter right on. Potvin trying to clear it to the corner. It comes back to Suter again. Hawks dominating this first period. Still looking for the opening goal. Chelios the shot on. Potvin couldn't glove it down. Joe Murphy in the corner. Tried to get it to Craven. McCowan knocks Murphy off the puck. DiPietro up the boards. Murphy in front. And Butcher, without a stick, was able to block the shot. Benoit Hogue turns back. Around the boards, Chelios keeps it in. Leafs are bottled up. Now will skate out. Hogue across ice. Randy Wood into the zone. Todd Gill going for the net. Off a skate to the corner. DiPietro behind the goal for Hogue. Back to the point. Here's Todd Gill's shot. That's off the target. Up with it, DiPietro. Back to Gill. Over to McCowan. Here's the shot, deflected. And that ends up in the corner off the stick of Hogue. And this time it's the Hawks clearing it down the ice. And icing the call against Chicago with 7:13 to go here in the first period as the Leafs try to test Belfour. From the face-off, Chicago gets the puck, and out to center comes Denny Savard. Poulin cruising in on the left wing. Stopped by Mironov. Savard after it along with Poulin in the corner. Domi takes his man to the boards, but it's Savard up with it. Amonte loose. Savard drives it right on. And that's shot number 15. Leafs can't clear it. Potvin comes out to try. Dave Andreychuk now able to get it out to center, but Denny Savard there, and now Gilmore takes over. Almost intercepting was Amonte. Ty Domi off the boards. And the Leafs look tentative in this first period. In a game they have to win to prolong the series. Savard back in short side. Potvin the save. Savard clears it in front. Todd Gill is there. Now the Leafs break out. Gilmore with Andreychuk. Andreychuk watched by Chelios, and Chelios takes it away. Up ahead for Patrick Poulin. 6:06 to go, first period. Kenny Janssen, the rookie, goes back in his own zone, watched by Sutter. Ella to hit to Berg. And now Sutter for Chicago. Hit referee Gregson with that clearing attempt. And now it deflects off Berg over the glass, out of play.
Well, the Hawks are the far superior team so far in the first period with 5:46 to go, but it does not show on the scoreboard like it does on the shot board. Chelios here, very quick, turns to the outside and heads Dave Andreychuk off. When you're playing in a hockey game of this importance and you've given up 4 3-on-2s, you've given up 7 big rebounds, and you've lost almost every faceoff in your own end, you are lucky that you're not behind. Daryl Sutter knows it, and so does Pat Burns.
Here's Eric Weinrich and Daze clearing it in for Chicago. Leafs have Manderville, Sutter, and Berg out, but they can't get it out of the zone. Potvin again out to help his teammates. Brent Sutter takes a look. Daze's in front. His shot doesn't get by Ellen. And now Manderville skates out. Checked by Graham. And the Hawks showing airtight defense and why they won the Jennings Trophy for the 3rd time in 5 years. Belfour out of the goal now. In the corner for Weinrich. Manderville on him. Back it comes to Butcher. The shot doesn't get through, and it's Brent Sutter. Twice a Stanley Cup winner with the Islanders. Rolling it in on Potvin. And with the Hawks changing, Potvin ahead to Berg. His clear in, gloved down by Chelios. Now Cummins to Kriva-Krasov. And the Hawk rookie is in. Drops it off. Suter rolls it towards the net. At the side of the net, Chance. Can't get it out in front, and Butcher takes over. Biggest shot period of the series for Chicago. 17 already. 4.5 minutes to go. Now the Leaf fans getting on the home side.
Well, they've been outplayed as badly this period as they were in the game they stole in Chicago. So maybe that's the game plan they're going with.
Joe Murphy up ahead to Craven. Daryl Sutter saying Craven's the man that got this line going for Chicago. Can't get loose that time. Smith moving in. Murphy in the corner. Taken to the boards by Butcher. Now it's Craven trying to center. Ridley up court for the Leafs. Up ahead it goes, and here's Sundin working in. Matt Sundin. Poke check by Smith. Sundin now. Down, tries to center it. Nichols there. Back come the Hawks, led by Craven. Murray Craven to the line, checked by McCowan. Following up, Nichols fires it high. McCowan up the boards for Craig. He can't handle it. Hawks have it again. Here's Amonte. Can't get the shot by Gill. Now play whistle down as Diddick and Craig were shoving at each other at the Chicago line. And penalties coming up with 3:24 to go in the period. With the series high 17 shots on goal, had 16 in the third periods of game 1 and 2 in games that Chicago lost. So Leafs almost look like they're trying to get Chicago to shoot themselves out here in this first period.
The Leafs had the first 2 shots too, so they've really been on the wrong end of this game tonight.
Now 4-on-4, Gill moving in. His shot doesn't get past Suter. Up ahead to Nichols. Nichols just cruising as Chicago makes a change. Craven went to the bench. Graham came over the boards, takes the pass. Backhand right off the rebound, scores! Dirk Graham ending a drought of 27 games without a goal. And Chicago, on their 19th shot of the period, has the lead.
Well, it was a bad angled backhand by Dirk Graham, but Potvin gave him the second chance with a big, fat, juicy rebound. And Graham hopped on it, eluding the defenseman Todd Gill, who seemed to stop once he saw Graham shoot it. And then by the time he decided to try and hook Graham's stick, he couldn't. And it was by a surprise Potvin.
His first goal since March 16th. Dirk Graham did not skate this morning, and there was some thought that he might not play tonight, but he was just resting, and opens the scoring at 17-12 from Chris Chelios and Bernie Nichols, 2 of the stars of the series. For Nichols, it's assist number 7. And here's Graham again. Allowed to walk in, and he drips the shot wide. 19-6 the shots on goal. Here's Mironov with Gilmore. Dmitry Mironov has McCowan open, fires it, and Belfour got a piece of that. Brent Sutter hit Gregson, now gets it ahead, and Steve Smith deflected it out to center ice. Jamie McCowan at center to Sundin. Back to McCowan at the line, tied up, 2:02 to go in the period. Here's Joe Murphy speeding into the Leaf zone. Can't get the shot away against Mironov. Mironov up the boards. Ellett, cross-ice pass. Andreychuk winds up, fires right on. And Belfour with the stop. And controlling the rebound.
The score, all in favor of the team in red.
Nichols against DiPietro, wins the draw. 18 seconds to go in this 4-on-4 situation that's netted Chicago 1 goal. Nichols back in again. Nichols against Ellett. It's such a heady play by Nichols to wait for Craven to go to the bench on that goal. Watch Graham jump over the boards and then fed him the pass, which led to the goal. Now Diddick and Craig out of the penalty box, so the 2 teams back at full and even strength with 1:15 to go in the period. Suter to Chelios. Samonti's cruising at center ice, and Nichols follows up. Here comes Nichols again. He's upended. And the Leafs come back. Sundin, under a minute to go, drops it off for Andreychuk. And Andreychuk is checked. The puck comes back out to center. Todd Gill, pressured by Amonte to Mironov. And Diddick fires it in. Hawks forechecking as Mironov. Pass too far for Andreychuk. Leafs looking anything but crisp in this first period. Now Gill back into his own zone. Daze forechecking. Todd Gill ended the season 19 points in his last 18 games, but has been held scoreless. Check that, 1 assist in this series. Now Smith. Up ahead to Daze. As time ticks down in this first period, and it was a great period for Chicago. Fans booing at the Gardens. 19-8 the shots on goal. Hawks with the lead as we go to the broadcast center and Ron McLean.
Putting the puck in the net, worry about it going in your net. So I've always taken that with me.
Well, Scotty, you have a week off. Is that too much this early in the playoffs?
You always like to get a little rest, Harry. We had a lot of momentum, but we'd have no injury to speak of. I would rather have played after 4 days, but I'll take the rest.
And right now, uncertainty of who you will play in the next round.
4 possible opponents, as we know: San Jose, Vancouver, and Chicago or Toronto.
The only team that the Red Wings can't play in the next round, the Calgary Flames, the number 2 seed, as Sundin is dumped in the Hawk zone and Chelios out to center ice. How do you cover all of those series now from a scouting point of view?
Well, Danny Belial's our head scout, pro scout, and he's covered this series. He's also Ken Holland has been out west watching the Vancouver and the St. Louis series. So we had seen San Jose quite a bit down the stretch. So we're hopeful that you're not going to get a lot out of the teams have changed. And they will also change as the next series goes on.
Now, Scotty, if you play the Hawks, what are you going to do about these 6 big defensemen? They're pretty good, aren't they?
I think the way that Darryl said it tonight, he's trying to give it a little bit of a rest to Chelios and Suter, but he's very careful, Harry. Every time it's a Sundin or an Andrew Chuck, he tries to get Suter against them, and I noticed they play Russell and Weinrich, but he's very selective. I think what you have to do is put some offense against them.
Well, the Wings have plenty of that. How much of an emotional hurdle was it to get by the first round for the first time in 3 years?
Our team was very tight. I think we can play a lot better, Chris. We just wanted to get that win so badly, and we were fortunate. Dallas had some injuries that helped, and to beat them in 5 games should help our confidence.
Was Mike Vernon a big difference?
We gave up 10 goals in the 5 games, and then when we needed the saves, he had them in the 3rd period. And I think what he brought to our team, though, the confidence that we had a goalie that was a #1 goalie for a long time with a very good team in Calgary.
So when you're practicing now, you can't very well talk about any specific opponents, so you're just trying to keep the boys in shape and remind them of a few things.
Scrimmage, Harry, today and tomorrow. The team, we have some boys up from Adirondack team. We've added a couple of our good prospects. So we've got about, I think it's 31 players in camp, and it's like training camp again.
Well, the Leafs trying to get back to basics after a terrible first period in game number 6. Outscored by only 1, outshot 19-8. And they tie it up for another face-off in the Chicago zone. I think just about everybody in the building, Scotty, surprised by the way the Leafs came out tonight, because there didn't seem to be any desperation in their play.
Well, obviously, when you're down like the Leafs, you have to be so careful that you don't want to fall behind. And if they could have come out even after 1, now they have to open up a little bit. And certainly from the standpoint of Chicago, they'll be trying to sit on that goal. They're such a good defensive team, #1 defensive team in the league this year.
And Gerald Diddick showing a little discipline there, not being enticed into any penalty situation. Diddick takes a shot on, and the blocker saved by Potvin. Gilmore takes Sutter out of the play, but here's Dirk Graham with the loose puck. Trying to thread it through to Sutter, and Todd Gill knocks it into the corner. Gilmore trying to get away from Graham. The Hawks forechecking again, and it's Daze to the net. Potvin will hang on. Just over a minute and a half into the 2nd period, and that's the goal scorer, Dirk Graham.
Now you got an elderly defense corps there in Detroit, so these, if you can get a little space between rounds, it should help that part of your team anyway.
And Mark Howe was just about ready. He was ready if we would have needed him. Harry played the last 2 games of the season. We feel good about our defense. The fact that we did use Coffey and Lidstrom quite a bit down the stretch. We cut their ice time enough in the Dallas series, maybe down to about 24, 25 minutes. But Bob Rouse has been a very good addition. Mike Ramsey, they've done a very good job.
Well, that's the story so far. Complete domination by the Blackhawks. And just the 1-goal lead. Chelios out at center ice. That's Jeff Shantz. The former Regina Pat without the helmet, working it in and winding up through a screen, the shot on goal. And Sundin outlets to Randy Wood. Here's Garth Butcher jumping into the rush, drops it off for Wood. Weak shot, Belfour out to play it, and he'll hang on for another faceoff in the Chicago zone.
Might get in a bit of trouble, Harry. I better mention another defenseman you might know, Slava Fetisov, who's really come up big for us down the stretch. He's 37 years of age, but when I see this guy pass and shoot at his age, what a player he must have been when he's 25, because we can enjoy him at 37.
Well, you have to like the Hawk defense here, boy. If you want to go to the net against this team, you better get the equipment on, because they make it a rocky road. And as this series has evolved, I think the real obvious difference in the teams are the defense corps.
It seems that anything close to Belfour, he's been able to control the rebound. If he doesn't control it, you're right, Harry, there's been no rebound shots by Toronto.
And Scotty, only Detroit had a better road record than Chicago this year, and home ice advantage hasn't been a real advantage in these playoffs. Has that changed over the years?
Well, we were happy that we got our home wins, because we're behind 500, I think, the home team. Chicago this year different in the United Center, but they played a great road game in Detroit, the last game of the season.
Leafs have not lost 3 straight at home in over 2 years. Down here 1-0. Early in period number 2. Murphy on the ice now with Nichols and Craven. And it's Murray Craven sweeping it into the Toronto zone. DiPietro, Sutter, and Berg out against the Nichols line, and the Leafs send it the length of the ice. And Sutter back to get it, icing the call.
Well, if you play the Hawks, I think you're going to see number 27 in there before the series gets too long. Jeremy Roenick. They're doing him a favor, the Hawks, by winning and giving him a little more time to get better. He told us that the doctors in Birmingham said he'd be 1 week away, so you better get his number up on the board if you play the Leafs.
The good thing for the Leafs, though, there's still at least over 40 minutes left, 1-goal game. I think the Leafs are in a position, if they could generate something, and you've seen all the games, of course, that everybody has written them off. And when you're in that position, if you ever get close again, you know, the momentum can swing. But Chicago, like you mentioned, they're a good road club, and the Leafs are only down 1 and they're at home. They've got to get this crowd in the game with some offense.
Well, coming up in our second intermission, Ron McLean will talk to the Red Wing captain, Steve Yzerman, as the Wings get set for round number 2. And the Hawks and Leafs trying to claim their berth in the second round. Here's Mironov to center. Tried to dump it in. Looked like it hit a high stick. Pat Burns waiting for the call. Play continues, and Patrick Poulin to the Leaf line. Dmitry Mironov pushing it ahead to Andreychuk. And here's Andreychuk over the line. Trying to get it through to Gill. Can't get it by Weinrich. Now hits Domi with the clear in. And around the boards it goes. We'd like to thank Scotty Bowman for joining us. And good luck to the Wings throughout the playoffs. Scotty Bowman, yet again, a candidate for Coach of the Year in the NHL. Gilmore behind the net. Andreychuk in front, knocked down. And a penalty coming up for the first time in the game. The Maple Leafs will have the power play. They trail by a goal.
And you score, you can grab that by the tail and ride it.
Well, there's the story of the Leaf power play. It has not been that effective at Maple Leaf Gardens so far. They have Sundin at the point. Here's Gill open. The shot. Belfour down. Craig chopping at the pads. But Belfour able to freeze it.
Well, a real smart play by Todd Gill. First, he realized that the Hawk penalty-killing forward, who was in charge of him, that is the point man, left and created a huge space. You can see right here, Murray Craven gets roaring away off into the corner. Now he can't get back. And Gill lets a shot go from 21 feet out, but cannot beat Belfour.
Well, 2 of the messages in the Leaf room this morning regarding the point men was to get the puck to the point men quicker tonight, and for those point men to get the shot away quicker. Here's Sundin moving in. Pass for Hogue, bounces over his stick. Ridley takes over. Ridley along the board. Sundin pinching in against Dirk Graham. Leafs keep it alive. Here's Ridley walking in. Back to Craig. And Dirk Graham was there to take it away and get it out to center. Fans thought Ridley should have shot from there. And Gill clears it back in. Minute 10 to go in the power play. Ridley along the boards. Back it comes to Sundin and Gill. Back to Sundin. Into the corner. Mike Craig is there. Chelios for Chicago. Up the boards for Brent Sutter and a backhand down the ice. And the fans getting on the Leaf power play here. Lead pass for Gilmore at the line. Here's Andrechuk stepping onto the ice. Big shot and a glove stop by Belfour, who looks it right into the glove.
Well, two big saves by Belfour. Andrechuk's got a hard shot, and he got everything into that one, and Belfour just picked it off like the apple was ripe in the orchard, and he wanted to take a bite out of it. Here it is right here. I don't know if that one went over the net or not.
Well, Burns fired up with the bench. And his Leafs showing a little sign of coming out of it here in the second period, but the puck out to center ice with under a half minute now left in the Tony Amonte minor. Here's Gilmore to Sundin as they wheel in. Shot on, rebound! Puck is loose! And now beat foot! Birdman scores!
Well, the Leafs finally score here. There's one shot, two. Andrechuk tries to kick it in, and the puck comes right back to Mironov. Eddie Belfour cannot get back in the net. He's trapped by his own defenseman, and the Leafs score. And there's blood pouring to the heart of the Leafs after it had gone without it for about 25 minutes.
He had 6 power play goals last year. Mironov with his first of this series after being benched in game number 5. Mironov back, and he has the Leafs on the board. Let's see if that gives the Leafs some adrenaline here as they're back on even terms. Puck at center ice for Berg. Clears it ahead, and Chelios will take over. Mironov, the goal scorer. Elliott gets his first point of the series. Doug Gilmore, his 4th assist. At 5:17, Cummins for Chicago. Around Manderville, and down goes Cummins. And Chicago will get a power play opportunity right back.
Well, Mandeville takes an untimely penalty here as big Jim Cummins pulls the puck past him. Now, the reason Mandeville had to trip him or only got part of him is that he went for the puck. And when he saw he couldn't get it, Cummins had moved and Mandeville grabbed him. And on this Leafs goal, all 5 skaters on the power play seemed to have a chance to score it. Mironov, being the 5th, put it into the open net. Sundin lets a 51-footer go with a little mustard on it. The rebound is out. 3 Leafs get a chance. And then you can see that Bernie Nichols piles over Belfour, and Belfour had no chance to get back in the goal.
And now Chicago goes on the power play with a chance to deflate this Leaf enthusiasm. But the hot power play, which was number 1 during the regular season, is dead last in the postseason. They're 1 for 23. And the Leafs with the best penalty killing unit in turn. Here comes Chicago. Savard, Murphy, Nichols up front. Chelios and Suter the point men. Denny Savard in the corner gets it to Nichols. Suter at the point. Over to Chelios. Randy Wood on Chelios. And Chelios gave it away, and it's cleared by the Leafs down the ice.
Well, it isn't just that the Hawk power play is not functioning well. Let's give some credit to the league penalty killing, and it's been a good part of their program all year long.
Number 5 during the regular season. Here's Nichols and Murphy behind the net. Murphy trying to center it. Now gives it back to Nichols. Out to Suter. 5 shots on goal in the first period. Nichols down low. There's Savard back to Nichols. Murphy's in the slot. Here's a shot that changed direction, went wide. Chelios across the front of the net. Bernie Nichols with 40 seconds to go. To Savard down low in front. Gill is there. And a chance for Berg on the backhand. Can't get it by Suter. Nichols with it again. In for Savard. Trying to force it in front. Doug Gilmour there. And he flips it over the glass out of play. 24 seconds left in the Hawk power play.
Well, the Hawks had control of the puck, but never really got a good chance. What a play by Gary Suter at the offensive blue line to keep it in by kicking it. And you can see 1 for 33 if you count the season play between these two teams. Hard to imagine any team in the National League having that dry a power play. Especially the Hawks, but oh, how they missed Jeremy Roenick on it.
7:40 gone here in the second period. Dirk Graham opened the scoring late in the first, but Dmitry Mironov, a power play goal from Ellen and Gilmour. And now the Leafs' other specialty team trying to do its job, and the penalty power play's over because a tripping call's going against Patrick Poulin.
Well, off the face-off, McCowan had a chance to get the net and pound the puck down the ice. Ridley won the draw. Poulin was chasing him and fouled him from behind, and referee Gregson made the call. Here it is here. Ridley wins the draw. McCowan wants to get to the back of the net so he can drive it around. No Hawk point man over there at the right point. 20 seconds left in the penalty to Manderville, and the Leafs will get another power play. Daryl Sutter, I'm sure, tried to remind his players at the end of the first period, although they were the superior team, the scoreboard did not reflect their superiority.
Well, it's a series in which momentum has not been sustained by either team. Sutter talked about a bad goal, a bad penalty. Any kind of mistake can turn the game around, and the Leafs seem to have responded after the power play goal by Mironov. 4-on-4 briefly. Gilmour and Sundin against Graham and Sutter. And here's Dirk Graham trying to get around Todd Gill. Gill takes the puck away. Around the boards for Gilmour, and out come the Leafs. They're now at full strength. Gilmour the line. Up against Chelios. And Chelios nicely takes it away and past Todd Gill down the ice. Hawks change penalty killers as Nichols is back out. Here's Andrechuk into Chicago territory. Brings the boards, and Dave Ellett plays it. Back in behind the net. Off the stick of Steve Smith. Gilmour to Andrechuk. It's tied up with Gregson. Back out to Gilmour. Out in front. Ellett had moved down, but it went off the stick of Chelios. In front to Gilmour. Nichols whacks at it. Comes back to Mironov. Here's the shot. That hit Andrechuk. He's tied up with Smith. Gilmour back to the point and over the stick of Mironov down the ice. Nichols calling for a fresh recruit. And behind the play, it's Gilmour and Smith exchanging shots. Chelios sends it the length of the ice. And 35 seconds left in the man advantage. A 1-1 tie with 10:45 left to go. Second period, Sundin on the move. Racing in. Diddick takes him to the backboard. Centered in front. Quickly. Backhands it wide. Weinrich lost it. Sundin centers, and Graham is there. And he lofts it over Janssen down the ice. Dozen seconds left. In the penalty to Poulin. Kenny Janssen slowly. Up ahead it goes to Mike Craig. Flying through center. Craig centers it. Hold tied up. Knocked down by Weinrich. McCowan the shot. Lob by McCowan. Craig knocked down in front. As the whistle went,
skating faster and completing more passes. He started when Smith played for Calgary, or Edmonton, and Gilmore for Calgary.
Eddie Belfour down as the Leafs go on their third power play, 1 for 2. And they'll have to regroup at center. We've gone by the midway point of the second period. Sundin to Gilmore. Now Gill returns it to the Leaf captain. It's behind him, but Gilmore. Outlets to Andreychuk. Leafs fired in. Gilmore goes after it. Brent Sutter has it to Nichols, and they'll send the Leafs back. Dirk Graham and Murray Craven now are out for Chicago to kill the penalty. Sundin dumped in front of his own net, and he'll turn it back to Ellen. Ellen, watched by Craven, just gives it away at center. And these fans getting on the Leafs immediately when things aren't clicking. Here they come now out at center. Gilmore into Chicago territory. In for home. Pumped by Suter. Out it comes to Ellen. There's a shot right on, and Belfour covers. With 43 seconds left in the Weinrich minor.
Well, I'm sure Dave Ellett would like to have waited a little longer till he got some white shirts in front of the goal, but he was being pressured by the Hawk penalty killer and had to shoot it right away, and it was an easy stop for Eddie Belfour. And here's the shot I'm talking about. The Leafs a little late getting to the front of the net to screen Belfour, but you can see Belfour. He's at the end of the bowling alley, and that's where the ball's got to come, Chris. And Ellett got it there in a hurry, but it was an easy stop.
12th shot on goal for Ellett in the series without a goal. Ellett and Mironov were a real force last year for the Leafs in the playoffs, combining for 9 power play goals. Mironov has 1 tonight, and he's paired with Ellett again. Leafs win the drive. Ellett tees it up. That shot deflecting wide. And Brent Sutter, the great Hawk veteran, skates it out and fires just off target. Mike Craig in his own zone, challenged by Sutter. Nichols is forechecking, and Ellett, with 23 seconds left in the man advantage, leads the Leafs out to Sundin. He flips it in. Ridley is after it. Craig in the corner. Back out to Mironov. Here's the shot by Mironov. That hits Sutter. Ellett tries. That's off the target. Sutter after it. Gets it by Mironov and Bernie Nichols. One-on-one against McCowan. Wrist shot right on. Penalty over. Weinrich is on the ice. Hawks back at full strength. 8 minutes to go. Second period, it's a 1-1 tie. Lead pass too high for Murphy. Sliding the length of the ice, and Butcher touching it. Icing the call against Chicago in a 1-1 tie in Game 6.
Dave Keon.
Here's Domi, scores! Ty Domi from an impossible angle. And the Leafs have a 2-1 lead.
Right off the faceoff, Ty Domi circles the wagons here, grabs the puck, and heads into the corner. And I think he really surprised Eddie Belfour by shooting from there instead of looking for a man to pass to, because Belfour is not ready for the shot. And Ty Domi scores his first goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf, and a timely one at that.
And Gilmore has just gone by Dave Keon on the all-time Leaf playoff scoring list. 12-14, time of the go-ahead goal. Domi from Gilmore. And play whistle down on a high stick as well. Gilmore with the 2 assists goes by Stan Mikita into 13th place on the all-time Stanley Cup scoring list.
Now here's another look at it. You wonder if this wasn't a design play, not the goal, but the face-off play. Because you saw Andreychuk take out the right winger, the right defenseman, to give Domi this kind of room. but Eddie Belfour just missed it. It was a bad angled shot right along the ice. If Belfour had stood there with a stick on the ice to score, it'd still be 1-1.
And the Leafs have outshot the Hawks 14-3 in this second period. After being thoroughly dominated in the first. 2-1 Toronto. Mironov and Domi the goal scorers. Now Shantz pushing it ahead. Krivokrasov skating into the Leaf zone. Vanderbilt all over him. Mironov flipping him. Shantz clubbed it down. Couldn't control it. And Todd Gill. Out to Bill Berg. Vanderbilt. Right in, and he fired it wide. Looking for his first goal of the year. Vanderbilt tied up by Chelios. Rich Sutter has it. Back behind the net for Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt beating McCowan. Shot ricochets to Gill. His shot doesn't get through against Suter. Todd Gill down low to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt pushes it in front. Back it comes. Gill shot right on. And Ed Belfour makes the save, but the Leafs are buzzing.
The fickle fans have changed their tune here at Maple Leaf Gardens. 2 goals by the Toronto Maple Leafs has aroused the emotions of this sellout crowd, and the Leafs look like the Hawks looked in the first period.
And Doug Gilmour has helped generate it with a pair of assists in the second period. Didn't talk to the media after Game 5 in Chicago. He's done some talking in this second period.
He was always one to do it with deeds and not with words.
There's Dinnick out at center for Chicago. And that caroms out of play with 6:12 left in the second period.
Well, the Hawks weren't rewarded in the first period with their excellence and have fallen foe to an inspired Leafs team here in the second period. They have dominating, and we're moving Gilmour up into the #1 spot. The most glaring stat right there is Gilmour did it in 45 games. Far fewer than any of the others, as great as those former Leafs were.
Boy, it's the honor roll right there. And Gilmour back out with Domi and Andreychuk. And he's matched up against Craven, Murphy, and Nichols. Potvin will not let it go with Craven cruising around.
While the stories about Toe Blake will...
Dressing room, and Walmsley was flushed with excitement to be talking to the legend, who proceeded to ask him, "Kid, when you're in the corner, who's playing goal?" And the great old coach had gotten his message across.
Walmer said, "No one, Mr. Blake. I shall stay in the net."
And Rick Walmsley was never known as a wandering goaltender after that. Graham in the corner. Ridley rides him down. And Mike Ridley skates out with the puck. Craig on left wing. Mike Craig dropping it off. Ellen pounding it in. Rebound. Scores! Ridley.
Ridley on a nice little backhand pass to Mike Craig, who drops it to Ellett. Ridley there for the rebound, and Eddie Belfour. This end of the rink, the south end of the Gardens, has been the end. Both goalies have given up rebounds on routine shots, and that one cost Eddie Belfour the goal. And this place is alive, and Eddie Belfour is going to be replaced by Hackett with 5:24 to go in the second period. This move surprises me. It makes you think, whether it's true or not, that Daryl Sutter, if he leaves Hackett in, has said, we're going to play Game 7, and I don't want this guy to get shelled. Now, he may just be taking him out to take the momentum out of the Leafs. Pat Burns is complaining that this goaltender change is a move as a stalling tactic, not because he really wants to change the goalie. You can get the equivalent of a timeout by making the bench, and maybe Sutter is going to leave Hackett in.
Second appearance by Hackett in the series, as the Leafs have chased Belfour in period 2. A remarkable turnaround considering how unlively the Leafs were in the first period. Ridley taking his man to the boards. Craig comes up with it. Sutter watching him. Sundin puts it in front. Here's Gill, and he shot it wide. As the Leafs try to test Hackett. Diddick rolls it out to center. 4:44 left here in the second period. 3-1 Toronto. Mironov, Domi, and Ridley the goal scorers. Doug Gilmour and Dave Ellett with 2 assists apiece. Now Randy Wood has a break. Hawks caught on a change. Wood shooting. Goes through Hackett. And Smith clears it away. Gilmour now turns. Leafs come right back in. Nichols breaks up the pass. McCowan pinching. Murphy got there first. And here's Craven one-on-one. Craven the shot high. McCowan off the boards. And it goes past Chelios. Could be a break for Gilmour. Smith chopping at Gilmour. Broke his stick. And we've got a penalty coming up on the slash by Smith against Gilmour. All Leafs in the second as they go back on the power play.
And Eddie Belfour is sitting on the end of the bench and may well not come back.
The Eagles been grounded at least temporarily, and the Leafs on the power play, but the Hawks on the attack. It's Gary Suter in and a shot on goal, and Potvin hangs on because Brent Sutter is in the neighborhood.
I don't think I can remember a series when the picture changes as it has in this one. In parts of every game, one team has dominated, not always scored, but dominated, and then the next thing you know, the wind blows them out of the way, and the other team takes over. And this has been a graphic example of mood swings. First by the Leafs, and then by the Hawks. Playoff beards.
And scars.
They are as common as overtime games, and not nearly as good looking.
Here's Andrechuk dropping it back to Sundin. 30 seconds gone in the power play. Gill shot. Rolling just wide. Gilmour taken down. Gets up and has the puck. To Hogue. Back to Gilmour. Back pass to Hogue. Out of the corner. Watched by Suter. Now Gilmour trying to spin away from Craven. Sundin's moved down in front of the net. Here's Hogue. Gets it to Sundin. Back to Gill. Gilmour open. Trying to roll it through. Can't get a shot away. Andrechuk fishing for it. He comes up with it. Minute to go in the power play. Leafs 1 for 3 on the night with the man advantage. Todd Gill. Nichols watching him, and what a great job of shot blocking he's done in the series. Gill can't get it by him. Now does. In front. Hope can't find it. Comes back to Sundin. To Gilmour. There's the shot going wide. And it's around the boards past Gill. And Sundin picks it up in front of the Hawk bench and winds up with a half minute to go in the man advantage. Here's Sundin cruising in. Wood going to the net. Back to Ellett. There's the blast, and it goes high. With 21 seconds left in the power play, 2:23 remaining in the period.
The Leafs are arguing that that puck hit a Chicago player and went out of the rink, but I don't think they're going to get anywhere with Gregson. Now, when you see this guy Sundin pick the puck up and you're an old-time Leaf fan, is it Sweeney Schreiner? Is it Frank Mahovlich? Or is it Matt Sundin, or a combination of the three? Boy, he can fly, this guy. And the Leafs are arguing that that hit a Hawk, not a Leaf stick. They're not going to win, and the face-off is going outside.
And Sundin with a goal a game against Chicago this year. 10 games played, 10 goals. As yet to hit the scoreboard tonight. With the Leafs up 3-1.
He has a 5-game point streak going, 5 goals, 1 assist. And going into tonight's game, led all players in shots on goal with 22.
Speaking of the shots, 25-23 Chicago. But remember, it was 19-8 after 1 period of play.
The chances to score in the first period, 9-2 Chicago. And in the second period, with 2:23 to go, 8-2 Leafs. A complete turnaround for Leafs in second period.
Well, it's also unusual. The second period's been the Leafs' worst this year in the regular season and in the playoffs, as Hackett holds on, and just 4 seconds now remaining in Steve Smith's penalty.
Well, the Leafs played the second period like I thought they'd come out and try to play the first, but the Hawks were the team that were alive in the first. Mike Craig has played a useful game here tonight, and he has not played a playoff game and is in there because Mike Gartner is injured and has made his presence known. And he has done this half a dozen times this year. Come back after not playing much or not even dressing and make the coach look like he shouldn't have benched him.
Craig gets it back to Mironov. His shot is blocked, and Smith will come out of the penalty box, and Mironov just gets back to the puck ahead of him. Now it's Joe Murphy snapping the shot, gloved down by Potvin, and he'll hold on for face-off. 1:51 to go here in the second period.
That, who used to coach and manage the Hawks.
Here's Burke feeding it out to center. Rich Sutter on the ice. He dumps it in. Gerald Dinnick behind goaltender Jeff Hackett. Now Burke comes up with a puck. And hit the side of the net. Manderville is down. He took a stick in the face, and he's trying to shake that off.
Well, he was part of a 4-man collision. Gregson is checking with the linesman to see if anyone saw it. And Manderville is getting up slowly and appears to have been hit over the eye. Here he comes, Manderville, in here on this line with Sutter. And he takes out Krivo-Krasov, and he eats part of Krivo-Krasov's stick, as you will see right here. No penalty. Now here's what's happening in front of the net. Garth Butcher came all the way off the point to clear the snow from the side of the net that Hackett keeps piling up. And now the referee Gregson is doing it. But the Hawk players resented the fact that Hackett had compiled a snowdrift beside the goalpost. Don't forget, the Beastie Boys were in here last night at a concert, and this place was jumping. Kevin Collins is making a snowman for someone here. As you can see, the ice is soft. And when you can take 2, 3 snowballs from beside the net, it might be an NHL record, and present them at the Leaf bench. And the reason that the officials don't want the snow there is that the puck, if it's rolling harmlessly anywhere near the net, it may stop in the snow.
In fact, there was that area on the other side. Bill Berg hit the side of the net there.
Bernie Nichols says to Kevin Collins, we love your skill as a snowman maker. Would you make us another one? And Kevin, being the congenial guy that he is, and you can see at the other end, Felix gobbles up the snow. He doesn't let it sit beside the net.
Well, you know,
and that's why he's such a cool customer in goal.
Cats are much cleaner. Play resuming after Kevin Collins with a snowman for each bench. And it's Ridley. Up the board, Steve Smith pinching in. And 70 seconds to go in the second period. Bilber down the left wing, one-on-one against Diddick. Feeds it off to Rich Sutter. Diddick takes him out. Berg follows up, and Sutter slow to get up. Rich Sutter hurt. Rich Sutter, the check from Gerald Diddick.
He hurt his left shoulder or arm, and I can tell you this, when the Sutters lie down for any longer than 1 second, there's something seriously wrong. It is a family trait, unless he got winded. And here it is right here. A clean takeout by Gerald Diddick, and Sutter gets up and goes to the bench. Pretty tough to say what happened, but Sutter doesn't appear to want to go to the first aid room, but trainer Chris Broadhurst is coming along to see what the problem is. Sutter played the first 2 games and then hasn't played since, so
we'll see if he plays in the third. We're in the final minute of the second period. Kriva Krasov racing into the Leaf zone. Trying to get by Butcher. It looks to center, but it goes off Domi. And now Domi tears after it. Lost the stick, tries to kick it ahead to DiPietro. Good hustle by Ty Domi, who helped ignite the Leafs in the second period. Hackett up the boards. Kriva Krasov bumped by DiPietro and slashed DiPietro. And Kriva Krasov, who got the stick up on Manderville earlier, is now headed off for slashing.
Well, the Hawks have had enough trouble this period without Krivo Krasov adding to the problem by taking a retaliation penalty. He's one of the players that loves to tuck his sweater in. It's becoming a more popular fad around the National Hockey League. Steve Smith is arguing the call, but he's not going to get anywhere. Krivo Krasov, with 19 seconds left, gets a slashing penalty, and the Leafs get a power play. But the most important thing for the Leafs is they get 1 minute and 40 seconds to start the third period. And you know the Hawks would love to have invested that 1 minute and 40 in a comeback.
Leafs with a power play goal tonight. It was scored by Dmitry Mironov and got the Leafs going at 5:17 of the second period. Following that, Domi and Ridley. And Ridley out to take the face-off against Nichols. Andrew Chuck Gilmore, Gill, and Sundin. And Ridley wins the draw to Sundin and Gill. Gilmore behind the net looking for Ridley. Chopped by him. And Brent Sutter gets it down the ice. That should do it for the second period. And the Leaf fans saluting Toronto for a vastly improved second period as Felix Potvin and teammates will skate off with the lead.
Bang, who used to be the Hawk, worked for the Hawks, played for the Hawks, and now he's ESPN. He told me that Eddie Balfour will not be bothered at all by being pulled. In fact, he thinks Balfour will be tougher than he would have been when they put him back in Game 7. Sutter knows that. Some goalies can't take being pulled in big games.
Hackett's facing a Leaf power play to start the third as Randy Wood tries to barge in, but Dirk Graham sends the Leafs back. 30 seconds gone, third period, and 1:10 remaining in the slashing penalty to Krivo Krasov. And Sundin ahead to Andreychuk. Gilmore cruising down the left side, has a pair of assists in the game, centering it in front. And the puck sliding to the backboards, and now Gill. Back to Gilmore. Now across to Sundin, Craven quickly on him, Hackett down, rebound, scores! Randy Wood!
From good forechecking, kept the offense alive, and again another rebound here, a bad one by Hackett, allowed Wood to grab it and put it in. That makes 3 Leafs who scored their first goal of the '95 playoffs tonight Wood on this one, Mironov on the first one, and Domi on the Leafs' second goal.
In his 50th Stanley Cup game, Randy Wood has a power play goal, the Leafs' second with the man advantage tonight. Sundin and Gill get the assists, and it's 4-1 Toronto. And the Leafs look like they are ready to force a 7th game for the 5th time in their last 7 playoff series. Here's Craven back, shot right on. Craven in the corner, Nichols in front, but the puck comes to Ridley. Up ahead to Mike Craig, who has 4 shots on goal in the game. But cleared down the ice, they rule Weinrich could have played it, so no icing. Nichols feeds it ahead, Diddick up at center, Craven bumped by Butcher. And Jamie McCowan will turn. Here's Craig. Stick handling at center, got to the red line, but flipped it over the glass and out of play.
Now let's have a look at some ice times of some of the key players tonight. Sundin and Gilmore, almost identical times on the ice. They're going to be up over 25 minutes. Chelios is going to be over 30 again. And that's just a habit for that number 7 for the Hawks. The Leafs have outscored the Hawks 8-5 in third periods in the first 5 games, despite the fact they've been outshot 64-47. And here they have another third period goal. The fans, the ushers, the police making sure nobody bothers the Hawk players on the bench. Of course, Maple Leaf Gardens, one of the few rinks in the National League where the benches aren't protected by glass.
Harry, we talked about Chelios' ice time. Is there a point? Well, let's get to the hot rush here. Amonte to Gary Suter in front. Poulin robbed again by Potvin. Penalty coming up. Poulin in the corner. Flips it out in front. Denny Savard takes over there. Hackett's out of the goal. An extra attacker on. Chelios goes deep. Centers it. Savard can't handle the bouncing puck, then drills it wide. Tony Amonte in the corner. Leafs can't get control. Here's Amonte dropping it down for Nichols in front for Poulin. Behind the net it goes. Denny Savard knocked off his stick. Chicago still with possession though. Chelios. And finally Gilmore touches it, and this penalty call coming against Toronto.
A long delay penalty. The Leafs could not get the puck. The Hawks had all kinds of puck control time, but never got it where they could score. So the Leafs take a penalty here early in the third period. And Mironov gets a roughing penalty. And he wasn't sure he was the man. That can't be the penalty, can it? Well, this is the penalty here. Once he gets Savard down, he sits on him.
So Mironov gives Chicago its second power play of the game. Hawks were 0 for 1 without a shot on goal in their first power play. I was going to ask if there's a point in the game where Chelios might get rested for game 7, but right now he's on the power play. You see the save again by Felix Potvin on Patrick Poulin. The Hawks trying to cut into a 3-goal lead. Clean, a shot off the post, they score! Denny Savard baking it in from the side of the net. And the Hawks are back to within 2.
I can tell you this, there won't be any rest for Chelios now. The power play shot from the point went off the goal post right onto the stick of Savard. Here's the shot coming here, a bad angle shot. And it goes off the post, and Savard puts it off Potvin and into the goal. You wonder whether Savard was trying to pass the puck across in front of the net, and Potvin was spread wide open, and Savard gets a goal for the Hawks with lots of time left in the third to make it 4-2.
Bernie Nichols gets his second assist of the game and his 8th point of the series. He leads the series in that department. Here's Ridley. Sharp angle shot off the side of the net. Craig's behind the goal. So is Ridley. Sundin cruising in front. Can they get him the puck? Craig shooting it. Sundin reaching for it. Swept to the line and out. also an assist on the Hawk goal to Gary Suter. Craig deflecting it back in, and Hackett stops it behind the net for Chelios. Up to Dirk Graham on right wing and out to center ice for Nichols. With Murray Craven, Suter jumping into the rush. Here's Nichols firing it high. 8 assists for Bernie Nichols in the series. And Nichols with it again. Graham's loose. Puck in front, and it's swept away by McCowan. The length of the ice. And the Hawks showing a spurt here after the power play goal by Savard from Nichols and Suter at 2:48. On CBC, the Leafs on the brink as well, but protecting a 2-goal lead as we approach the 4-minute mark of this third period. Todd Gill turned back by Smith. Dave Ellett over to support, flipping it into the air, and Steve Smith took a swipe at it. Didn't make contact, and the Leafs cleared in deep. Jeff Hackett, who replaced Ed Belfour after the third Leaf goal in net for Chicago. Nice play by Berg to kick it free. Rich Sutter back on the ice, so the injury we saw late in the second period, not that severe. Diddick roughed up DiPietro, and for the second time tonight, DiPietro will draw a penalty against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Chicago's got a chance to get back in this game, and they're starting to take some foolish penalties here.
And while Terry Gregson assesses the penalty, let's join Scott.
We're able to put the score up on the board that we see right there now.
All right, Mike, thanks for your time. Chris, back to you.
Todd Gill with a shot right on as the Leafs start their 6th power play of the game. 2 for 5 with the man advantage. Pat Burns said this morning he wouldn't go with anybody that wasn't 100%. And Mike Gertner is sitting out for Mike Craig tonight.
Well, Diddick, who's been a pretty strong player, gets run into by DiPietro and doesn't like it, and then does this. I mean, you want to win, you can't do that.
Leafs win the faceoff. And it's Sundin's shot, hit a stick. And Brent Sutter up with it, past Sundin and down the ice. And Sutter and Nichols head to the penalty box for the bench, and Dirk Graham comes out with Murray Craven.
Pat Burns has a forward, Sundin on the point, so he wants that next goal. He's not going to sit back, try and kill off 17 minutes.
Hawks have a shorthanded goal in the series, scored by Chelios, who has it now off the boards, and Dirk Graham. And Murray Craven speed down the ice. Here's a 2-on-1. Craven in, looking for Graham, and it deflects to Felix Potvin. Like the forward will stay out there now on the point. Here's Hogue speeding back. Up against Chelios. Benoit Hogue to Todd Gill. Tried to get it in deep, but Chelios sends away Suter, and the Hawks pressing forward again. Short-handed. Suter against Sundin, and it rolls in on Potvin. Under a minute to go in the man advantage, and the Leafs have not threatened with this opportunity. Andrechuk to the line, and offside is the call.
Well, Dave Andrechuk was forced to make a move laterally with the puck as he approached Eric Weinrich, and he did it 2 feet in front of the blue line, and his wingers, his forwards, could not stay on side on the other side of the rink. You're going to see this right here. Weinrich stands up. A nice play. He's beaten, but he caused the offside. Takes nerve to stand up on the when you're killing a penalty, because you have one less player out there to help you on the back check. Weinrich got away with it that time.
45 seconds left in the man advantage, and now Ellett and Mironov, 2 defensemen on the points. And it comes back to Ellett, who takes the shot right on Hackett. Ellett with a couple of assists tonight. Gets it to Mironov. Cross ice past Craig. Snaps the shot. Rebound cleared by Savard to the line. Tucked in by Ellett. Craig's loose. One-timer, and he blasted it high. Ellett shovels it in for Ridley. And Wood. Back to Ellett. Mironov one-timing it. That's off the target. Here's Mike Ridley. 10 seconds left, and the pass comes out to center ice. Mironov quickly back to get it against Savard. Dmitry Mironov back in. Got crossed up with Wood. Ridley reaching for it. But now the Hawks back at full strength, and Steve Smith moving into the Leaf zone. Sharp angle, and Potvin clubs it down. 13:23 left here in the third period. 3 yet in Game 6. From the faceoff, Amonte checked by Bill Berg. Chance in the corner. We'll try to get it out in front. There's Cummins with it. Watched by Ridley. Chance now against McCowan, who takes the puck away. Pass behind Rich Sutter will go the length of the ice. And as Smith goes back to touch it, icing the call with 13:01 to go in the third.
31-31 the shot. The chances to score are about even, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have been a little more opportunistic with their chances than have the Hawks. 13:01, a long time for the Leafs when if you lose, you're out. The Hawks, I know they don't want to think this, but in the back of their mind, they know Game 7 is in Chicago.
Although Darryl Sutter, when asked about how big an edge that might be at the end of this series, he said it wouldn't matter if Game 7 was played out behind the barn. And I bet they had some great games out behind the barn in Viking.
Well, that's what he says, but you know he's happy it's there and not here.
If we need a Game 7. Rich Sutter takes a shot off Gary Suter's ankle. Chelios tried to wrap it around the boards, went by Berg and ahead to Murphy and Craven. The big line for Chicago, moving into the Leaf zone. Craven tries the cross-ice pass. It's Sutter with it, and the Leafs clear, and Sundin is after it. Hackett out of the net. Sundin got there first. Net is empty, and Hackett scrambles back. Berg taking Chelios into the boards heavily. And out come the Hawks. Murphy to the line, tees it up, and a nice stop there by Potvin. Garth Butcher out to center. Doug Gilmour turning back. To Ty Domi, hit by Diddick. Weinrich ahead to Sutter. Pass broken up by Andrichuk. Todd Gill to an open wing. Here's Gerald Diddick sending it in deep for Chicago. Todd Gill has it for Toronto. Brent Sutter forechecking. Elliott to Domi. Ty Domi with the second goal for Toronto tonight. Hands it to Gilmour, who clears it in. Andrichuk awaiting the puck. Knocked away from him by Diddick. 11:20 to go in the third period. Andrichuk along the boards, can't find it. And it comes up to center. Gill almost gave it up, does. Graham was there. And Andrichuk back to help out. Leafs can't clear it out. Now they'll carry it out. Puck fed ahead to Domi. And Diddick will beat him to the puck. Weinrich took a big hit there. That was DiPietro. And Gerald Diddick now. Off the boards. DiPietro on him as the puck slides down the ice. Played by Potvin. Butcher hit by Poulin, gets it ahead to Randy Wood and DiPietro at center. DiPietro going after Smith. Russell trying to handle DiPietro before he gets to the defensive partner and ran good interference. Amonte's on the move. Shot right off. Kenny Savard looking for the rebound to Poulin. Cleared by Wood to the near corner. Amonte after it there. He's knocked down by McCarron. Fans responding to that hit. Puck comes free for Poulin. Amonte loose in front. Poulin trying to go all the way. Pogue wrapping at it. Puck loose. Denny Savard, who has the second goal, has the puck for Chicago again. Hawks looking for a third, and it's Savard wheeling in front, and that hit escape. Amonte had Potvin down. Here's Savard shooting right on, and Potvin will hold it. And Poulin fought Potvin.
Gonna get a penalty for it, too.
Felix Potvin robbing Poulin, and now Chicago will be a man short again.
He did the first 4 games in the last 2. Is he tired? Is he hurt? Or are the Leafs paying special attention to him, or all 3?
Sundin clears it in as the Leafs go to their 7th power play of the night. They've scored twice with the man advantage. Gill shot. Off the skates of Nichols, centered in front. Craven after it. Sundin's moved down and blocked the clear-out attempt. Weinrich against Andrechuk. Eric Weinrich now has Gilmore on his tail. Got it to Craven. And Craven sends it out to center ice. Todd Gill has to be wary of Nichols. And now Graham forechecking. Up ahead for Gilmore. Doug Gilmore to center, will shoot it in. Randy Wood, first man into the zone, but it's around to Sutter. Brent Sutter can't trap it against the boards. Now it comes free, and it's Sundin. Over to Gill. Gill cross ice, Andrechuk blocked by Hackett. Good stop there by Jeff Hackett. And the Hawks clear.
It was an excellent stop. And Hackett keeps his team alive with that kind of a save.
15 of the Leafs' 32 shots in the game have come with a man advantage. Mike Craig turned back by Shams. Now Dave Ellett will set it up with a half minute to go in the man advantage. And 8:10 left in the third period. It's a 4-2 Toronto lead. Smith bumped by Hogue. Gets it around the boards, and here comes Chelios, who scored that shorthanded goal. Winds up off the blocker of Potvin and Monty. Along the boards, held up by Ridley. And the Leafs will get control, but the penalty to Poulin is now over as Patrick Poulin has returned to the ice. Eric Weinrich up to Diddick. Diddick taken to the boards by Sutter. And the Leafs clear it back down the ice. 7.5 minutes to go. 4-2 Toronto. Weinrich. This is Poulin with the pass, and it slides all the way down on Potvin. Butcher and McCowan out there on defense for Toronto. Can't get it out. Weinrich shot right on. Rebound. Potvin. They score! Joe Murphy has the goal. And it's 4-3.
7:11 to go. Plenty of time. The Leafs had complete control of the puck behind the net. Jamie McCowan threw it around the boards, and Rich Sutter was not on the boards to stop the pass around, and the Leafs never got the puck back. Potvin makes a big save there, but then it's put in as it sat 2 feet outside the goal line. There's the big stop, and it looks like the play ends here, but the puck bounces right to Joe Murphy, whose feet were behind the icing line when he put it in.
Joe Murphy has his third goal in 3 games. Daryl Sutter showing a little frustration with Murphy this morning, talking about him, saying this is a 50-goal scorer potentially who has not elevated to the next level. Well, he has a big goal for the Hawks. Suddenly, Game 7 is by no means a certainty. A high stick blowing play dead. 6:54 left. 4-3 Toronto.
7th game. The Hawks will be rolling. You can be sure of that. Taking all kinds of chances.
Well, the Leafs look like they might have been home and cooled out when Wood scored the power play goal at the 55-second mark to make it 4-1. But Denny Savard and Joe Murphy have brought the Hawks within 1. The Murphy goal at 12:49 from Weinrich. Here come the Hawks. Amonte to Poulin to Suter, and he couldn't get a shot away. And the Leafs on their heels now, clear it down the ice. Racing for it is Domi, and Domi got there ahead of Chelios. Andrechuk centering it, and it comes to the line, kept in by Gill. Gill to Andrechuk, missed the one-timer. Chelios on Andrechuk, loose in front, hack it down.
Well, the Leafs have had a big advantage with 7 power play opportunities to the Hawks 2. And I'm sure that the Hawk coaching staff and players can't figure that one out. But the Hawks have taken 2 or 3 bad penalties. Ty Domi chose the right route, Chelios the wrong route to save the icing. Good hustle by Domi.
6:07 to go, third period. And anxious times hit the Leaf bench.
Eddie Balfour is going back in. This is another This is a stalling tactic for sure, to give the Hawks key offensive players a chance to take a breather here and take a 6-minute run at the Leafs. And I can assure you that Belfour is going to take the maximum amount of time to get back in the net. And Hackett did a nice job. He made 2 or 3 stops after it was 4-2 to get him alive. Pretty good move by Sutter right here. You're not putting your third-string goalie in when you put Belfour back in. And this may be one of a... They may do it again sometime in the last 6 minutes, because it definitely gives you the same amount of time as a timeout does.
Giving players like Nichols and Chelios time. Here's Hogue from the faceoff. Shot didn't get through. Loose for Wood. Can't get a shot away, and Chelios pushes it ahead to Murphy, who has the Hawks within a goal. Here comes Craven. Gary Suter moving up again, firing it, and Potvin handling the hot shot.
Well, the Leaf forwards have got to keep in mind that the Hawk defensemen, especially when Chelios and Suter are out there, are going to be in every rush, and they're going to come off the blue line into the slot every time. And Suter's right there. Randy Wood makes a nice play. When you're the back checker, you see him take Nichols. When you're the back checker, and on the way back, you see 2 of your players and 2 of theirs, you have to trust your teammates. Look over your shoulder and make sure the third guy on the opposition doesn't show up. It was Nichols, and Wood had him.
You can hear the fans chanting for Eddie Belfour, who's trying to use this break to loosen up at the far end of the ice. Leafs just send it 200 feet, and Chelios touching it, icing. 5:41 to go.
Well, I mentioned a big job for the wingers who are the forwards who are forechecking. Here's Pat Burns saying, settle down, boys, settle down. But the wingers in the defensive zone, your job, control the boards and control the point man. So anything that comes around the boards, you get your stick on it, or at least you get a chance to squeeze off the pinching defenseman. Belfour and Hackett, Chelios and Suter are staying out, and they'll play probably 4 minutes of the last 5:40.
From the faceoff, Craig up with it, off the glass and out to center. Gary Suter hit a Monty with the pass, but he didn't see it coming. And as Belfour plays it, the fans respond. Bernie Nichols up to Suter. And he's logged a lot of miles tonight. Patrick Poulin trying to burst in. Ellett cut him off. Tries to push it ahead, and Craig gets it past Suter down the ice. Well, this will come right on to Belfour. Great atmosphere here in the third period of Maple Leaf Gardens as the Leafs try to hang on and force Game 7. Ellett, too far for Craig. Suter back in his own zone. Waits for the line changes. Denny Savard comes on, and boy, he has skated great in this series as he moves in again. Winds up high, shot, Potter, they score! Brent Sutter has tied it for Chicago.
Well, Savard showing a youthful burst of speed to roar out of his own end and let the shot go, and the rebound off Potvin or off the crossbar dropped in the crease, and Sutter snapped it in. This is the Savard of 10 years ago as he skates past everybody, lets the shot go. A good play by Graham going to the net to back Ellett off, and you can see that Potvin stopped it with his right shoulder, but the puck dropped right on the stick of Sutter, who put it in, and it's 4-4.
And that's Brent Sutter's first goal in 27 games. Savard and Suter get the assists at 15-23, tied at 4. And what a Hawk comeback from 4-1 down in the first minute of the third period. You know, Harry, the last shift out for Denny Savard when Poulin took the penalty after that great blitz around the around the Leaf net. Savard went to the bench, slammed the bench door, frustrated that he hadn't scored the goal on the previous shift. But what a play by Denny Savard. And the momentum shift is complete for Chicago here. Two-line pass, 3:50 to go. It's a 4-4 tie in Game 6. Leafs have to wonder about home ice advantage. They had a 2-0 lead in the series, squandered it at home. Now letting go of a 3-goal lead in this pivotal 6 game. And the Hawks full value for the comeback. 3:33 left in the third. Wood hooked down by Gary Suter. No call. And out at center ice, it's McCowan. Nichols moving up for Chicago. Here's Bernie Nichols firing it right on. Benoit Hogue has the rebound, clears it around the boards. Gilmore up against Craven. Jeff Shantz picks it up. He can't get it by Gilmore, and the Leafs will skate out. Benoit Hogue with Randy Wood. And that's broken up as the Leafs make a change. Ellett ahead to Wood. Long shot on Belfour. And it's now Belfour's game to win or lose. Here comes Savard again. And look at him dance. Into the zone. Drops it off. Amonte fan on the shot. Tony Amonte into the corner. Patrick Poulin to Savard. Back to Poulin. He couldn't bring it out of his skates. Sundin on the far side, just pushing it ahead, and Weinrich over center, back into the Leaf zone. There's the story, 4-4, 2.5 minutes to go. Amonte checked, and Dave Ellett ahead to Sundin. Points in all 6 games in the series that the Leafs are offside at the line.
Unbelievable how these two teams have looked like they've been beaten teams and then come back and look like they are far superior to their opponent. Hawks in the first, Leafs in the second, and the Hawks again in the third. 2-2-2 to go. It's 4-4 in the Game 6 here at Maple Leaf Garden. These fans don't know what to think of this game.
Hawks outshot the Leafs 19-8 in the first. Leafs with the advantage in the second, 17-8. And it's now 14-8 in favor of Chicago here in the third period. Gilmore, Andrechuk, and Berg. The front line for Toronto against Murphy. Graham, there's a shot on Belfour. Weinrich around the boards, and Graham now skating out. Brent Sutter, the center on this line, and Potvin had trouble with it. Murphy after it in the corner. All 3 Hawks on the ice have goals tonight. And Murphy and Butcher jostling to get a whistle.
Well, you're going to have to take a scoring chance away from someone or try and injure someone, I would think, to take a penalty now in the eyes of Terry Gregson. But you have to use your head and make sure you're not retaliating, because the referees in this league will grab the retaliator on a regular basis. Hackett, fully equipped, standing behind the Hawk bench, did a nice job when he came in under difficult circumstances and has given his team a chance to win this game and eliminate the Leafs.
This is the Leafs' 4th attempt for their 200th franchise playoff win, and it has been a tough one to get. And they may have to wait another year for it unless they can score a goal.
Gary Suter appears to be hurt right at the Hawk blue line. Now the fans are accusing the Hawk player of stalling, but he's spitting up blood. He just spit up some blood. And you can see the Hawk trainer out there taking care of him. I didn't see how it happened. Here it is right here. Gary Suter on the face-off, lined up at the top of the circle, steps in and shoots it, and Craig's stick ran up the shaft of Suter's stick and hit him right in the face.
Suter's been a tower of strength again tonight, especially in the third period. He's set up 2 of the 3 Hawk goals that have got them back to even terms.
I think he's been clearly the best Hawk defenseman, and by the look of it, he'll be back. He's checking to see how many of his teeth are still there. They're there, but are they chipped?
May not have lost any teeth, but he'll have gained some stitches before this night's out.
It's hard to stitch those teeth up, though, Chris. He'll be back. They'll all come back when they're hurt at this time of the year.
And the play whistle down again as Gill and Nichols collide. And I guess, Harry, the question about resting Chris Chelios was premature.
Nichols and Todd Gill have a healthy collision right here, right in front of the bench. Chris Chelios seems to stay out there forever. Gary Suter's coming back, bleeding. And he's the guy tonight that has been the offensive star when from the defense core of the Hawks. Most of the time it's Chelios.
Minute 39 left in regulation time. We haven't gone to overtime in this series.
We're in overtime now, Chris.
We are indeed. Todd Gill sends it in. Chelios flipping it, but can't get it out. Dirk Graham does. And Dave Ellett back to get it. Ellett ahead to Mike Craig. He sends it in. Sundin and Ridley will forecheck. Suter back on the ice, up the boards. Gill pinching in, kept it in. Ridley shoots towards the net. And look at Chelios, block it, control it, and get it to Graham. Off the stick of Ridley and sliding into Felix Potvin with under a minute to go in the third period.
I really think the Leafs will benefit more by the intermission going into overtime than the Hawks will.
If there is one, here comes Murphy. Savard rolling it towards the net. Murphy behind the goal. Trying to come out and his shot wide. Butcher up the boards. Berg can't clear it. Here's Denny Savard. Murphy. Quick shot handled easily by Potvin. Andrechuk flipping it out to center ice. Berg giving chase. Steve Smith playing it. Up to Amati. Andrechuk there for Toronto. And Andrechuk lofting it in the air. Smith back to get it with 15 seconds to play here in the third period. Up it goes to Amati. One last chance to end it before overtime. Amati can't get it away. And we are going to sudden death overtime in Game 6. How the heck did this get to sudden death? Here we go. The Leafs trying to stay alive. The Hawks trying to end it right here. Ridley, Craig, Sundin up against Nichols, Craven, and Murphy. Jamie McCowan batting it in. Ridley behind the net. Tried to get it to Craig, broken up, and Murray Craven starts back. His overtime game winner came against Vancouver, centering it in front. Sundin knocking down Murphy in front. We mentioned the Leafs 4-2 when facing elimination the last 2 years. 3 of those games went to overtime. They won 2 and were ousted last year in overtime by the Vancouver Canucks. Denny Savard at center. What a role he has played in this comeback tonight. Belfour up to Gary Suter. He pushes it ahead, and it slides to Gill. Dave Ellett to Gilmore. Now out with Andrechuk and Domi. Here's Gilmore looking for his first goal. Centered it. Andrechuk reaching for it. Gilmore behind the net. Domi's out in front. Ellett cheating down. Gilmore centers. Domi took a whack at it. Broken up by Savard. Here comes Patrick Poulin. Chelios trailing. Poulin in front. And Sutter just missed it. Now the Leafs reel away. They're going for it in overtime. Here's Gill. His shot doesn't get through. Ellett took a whack at it. And it's out to center. Is this pace surprising you, Harry?
Quite often the first 2 or 3 shifts of overtime are a lot more exciting than the next 10 or 12.
Domi kicks it free. Andrechuk after it against Chelios without the helmet. Gilmore with room in the corner. Tries to get it back to Andrechuk. Chelios chops it to the boards. Sutter can't clear it. McCowan in deep for Toronto, and now Savard. Great move out to center. Denny Savard rolling it in and heads to the bench. Butcher up with it for the Leafs. Now Benoit Hogue, rubbed out by Diddick. And Gerald Diddick will take over. He was part of that Vancouver team that eliminated the Leafs last year with an overtime goal by Greg Adams. Benoit Hogue lost control. Here's Shantz. Graham puts it in front. Potvin clears to the line. Weinrich in behind the net for Graham. Leaves it for Shantz. Shantz looking for Amonte. Now Shantz with it again. Here's Shantz in front. Graham the shot. Blocked by Butcher. Jeff Shantz again. Tony Amonte. Out to Graham. Here's the shot. It goes high. Shantz in the corner. And now DiPietro. Past Hogue and out to center. We're approaching the 3-minute mark of overtime in Game 6. Murphy couldn't keep it in. Here's Bill Berg. And Gary Suter comes back for Chicago. Chelios still out there without the helmet. Chelios around the boards for Craven. Mironov pinching in. Keeps it in. Here's DiPietro. And Chelios working against him. Wood to help out. There's a shot that Belfour played that bad angle shot that holds on.
Chelios has to go to the other end of the rink to get his helmet. Played about 2 minutes without it. And a torrid pace here by both teams in the first 3.5 minutes of overtime. Get the puck on the net in overtime, because your buddies without the puck should be going to the net. But Suter will not let Berg get there. And perhaps it's a good idea, as you see, Eddie Belfour got the puck. Chelios and Gilmore into the end of the rink. And Chelios' helmet comes off. Boy, he's taken a pounding, Chris Chelios, this series. 2 other games have begun. Brett Hull for St. Louis. T-Top tied it up for Calgary in San Jose. Both Game 6s.
Suter along the board. Sundin trying to center it. It comes to Bernie Nichols. Out to Craven and Murphy wheeling with good speed into the Leaf zone. Joe Murphy shot right on. Rebound! Hit the goal post! Craven hit the goal post! Could this be shades of San Jose last year, when Garpenlov bounced one off the bar and the Leafs came back? Now the Hawks trying to send Craven away again. Drops it off. Chelios in, and the shot off a leg. Into the corner for Nichols. Joe Murphy, watched by Ridley. Murphy trying to power his way in front. And Randy Wood gets it down the ice. Diddick back to get it. Icing the call, and the Hawks came that close. Diddick tees it up, and that's off a stick high. Domi flipping it. Gloved by Smith, who took a high stick, and a shove from Todd Gill.
No, I don't know whether it was the puck that hit Smith in the face or Anderchuk's stick, but he was trying to catch it. And Anderchuk, I think it was Anderchuk, put his stick up to try and deflect it out of the zone. And have a look at it. Smith stays in at the blue line here. Here comes the flip. And you can see Anderchuk trying to tip it past Smith and get away on the 2-on-1. Krivo-Krasov, the right winger, will not let Anderchuk out. And that gives Didic a chance to tee it up. And he shot it over the net. Nice play by Sergei Krivo-Krasov. Little things on the face-offs can often end up in big things on the scoreboard.
Savard all over Ellett. And the puck behind the net for Todd Gill. Gill had an overtime game winner last year against Chicago. 2 games went to overtime. Jeremy Roenick had the other game winner in last year's series. Won by the Leafs in 6. The Hawks trying to win this one in 6. And icing the call against Toronto.
Now Pat Burns is complaining that the defenseman pinched and made no attempt to get the puck that was coming around the boards. And that's kind of the rule of thumb on icings. Pucks that come around the boards, if the opposing defenseman pinches and doesn't touch it, they usually wave the icing off. Now in a regulation time, that wouldn't be such a big deal, but in overtime, defensive zone face-offs, which is coming up for the Leafs, are always a scary proposition, especially when the Hawks have been better than the Leafs on the draw tonight.
Man through the series. Belfort trying to keep loose. One of the great subplots tonight. Belfort lifted. Jeff Hackett came in, and now it's Belfort's game to win or lose. Chelios as the Hawks win another draw. Here's Suter firing, and that didn't miss by much. And ricochets out of play.
Now the winger's job on the face-off is try and fight your way through to the point. And because the Hawk players are holding the wingers up, you can see they made a switch. And Craig went to the left point, or right point, and the other Leaf winger went to the left point, thinking that if they switched up, they might get out there quicker, even though they may end up on the wrong wings. And they did get out faster.
Sundin centering now the line between Craig and Hogue against Shantz. Tony Amonte and Dirk Graham. Leafs bounce it out through center ice. And we've played 5:15 of overtime. Jamie McCowan up to Hogue. Still looking for his first point as a Leaf in the playoffs. Tying it up along the boards. Sundin trying to work it free. Scrum continues, and Hogue pries it loose. Gary Suter with 9 shots on goal in the game. Out to center ice, there's McCowan. And Mike Craig wheeling through center. Dumps it in, heads to the bench. Chris Chelios. He'll log over 35 minutes tonight. Graham just gets it out to center, and here goes Suter again. Gary Suter, shot right on. And it's Garth Butcher. Up for Ridley. Couldn't find it in his skates. Ridley now out with Berg and Wood. As Pat Burns has changed the lines for the Leafs. Here's Murphy speeding in. Fires it right on. Butcher to the boards. And the Leafs up with the puck. Ridley cross ice, and Elliot's on the move. Off the boards. Didic got there ahead of Randy Wood. And now Murphy with Craven and Steve Smith. Broken up by Mironov. Wood going after it against Didic. Here's Ridley with the puck. Mike Ridley stays with it to Ellett. Here's a shot deflecting off Didic. High and out of play.
Well, Ellett was thinking that he had Randy Wood in front of the net, and he had no time to wind up, and made a good decision and then a good play by just putting a wrist shot on the net, and it deflected over the glass. Here's the play right here. You're not going to score on that shot, but if it is deflected, you might. And there were some traffic right there as Wood couldn't get his stick on it. So the face-off is to Belfort's right. And the Leafs, lots of conferences on the offensive zone face-off. Most lines have a little play they like to try every once in a while. Let's watch and see if Gilmore's does.
Andreychuk just waved Domi over to the left wing position. And from the face-off, it went to Belfort. 5-1 shots on goal in favor of Chicago in overtime as Denny Savard wheels in again. Mironov cuts him off at the pass. Along the boards, Poulin trying to work it free against Domi. Brent Sutter helping out. And they chop it by Steve Smith down the ice. Didick back to get it, but off the boards to Poulin. Out to center. Savard with Brent Sutter. Two great veterans over the line. Poulin takes the drop. There's the shot. Off a skate wide, and Andreychuk will turn for Toronto. One handing it out to center ice. Hawks clear it back in. 7.5 minutes gone. We're in overtime at Maple Leaf Gardens in Game 6 as the Leafs try to stay alive, and the Hawks try to move on to the second round. Krivokrasov digging after it. No icing. Krivokrasov now trying to center it against Ellen. And it bounces to Andreychuk. Trying to pull away. He'll give off to Gilmore. Across to Sundin. Moving in, and Suter stopped up Sundin. Sundin again. Back to McCowan, the shot. That's high. Krivokrasov and the Hawks now tear out of the zone. Off the skate of Cummins and back to Krivokrasov. Craig hacking at him. Chances in deep. That's Cummins behind the net. Centering pass to McCowan as the Hawks finish a chain. McCowan up to Ridley. Can't find it in his skate. Sundin can't reach it. Nichols coming back. Here's Nichols in. Murphy the shot weak and wide. Nichols in the corner. The big line for Chicago sets up. Murphy fires. Kicked out by Putman. That's wide of Belfour, and icing the call after Joe Murphy had one of the best chances in overtime.
Well, Felix Potvin is a young goaltender by NHL standards, but overtime, he's a seasoned veteran. He has played 10 overtime games, and this is only his 3rd year of being a full-time goalie. And he makes a big save right here on Bernie Nichols on the rush, and the puck cannot get through to Murray Craven. Murphy lets one go from 27 feet out, and he makes the stop with Craven sitting on the doorstep. Bernie Nichols has been dynamite on the draw, and they're going to try and... Tommy Ivan sporting his Stanley Cup ring the last time the Chicago Blackhawks captured the elusive Stanley Cup. I'll bet he's proud of that. Wonderful man, Tommy Ivan. In 1976, Bob Pulford and I coached the American team in the first Canada Cup, and Tommy Ivan was our general manager, and it was a real privilege to work for a man like him.
Well, his Hawks have 50 shots on goal tonight. And 3 in the 3rd period beat Felix Potvin to force this overtime. Gilmore beating Nichols on the draw. Gill in front of his own net. Ahead to the captain, who spilled at center. And Craven will take over. Gerald Didick ahead, past Craven. Gill can't reach it. Dave Ellett up to Wood. Didick for the Hawks. Flipping it back in. Craven digging after it against Gill. And icing is the call.
Well, as the game wears on, the Leafs have been playing for the most part 5 defensemen, as Johnsson has not taken a regular shift. And you wonder whether the 5 Leaf defensemen can hold up as long as the 6 Hawk defensemen. And Butcher and Ellett have come out every other shift. Mironov has been spelled by Todd Gill and Dave Ellett. Johnsson has played very little. So Pat Burns, like many coaches, goes with the guys that have been there before when the times are the toughest. And you don't see a lot of the Hawk young players, forwards, playing much tonight either. 50 shots Felix Potvin has had to contend with. And Eddie Belfour and Jeff Hackett, 35.
Gilmore wins the draw. Here's McCowan. Takes the shot. Belfour the save. And he does get on the rebounder. at least long enough for Terry Gregson to whistle play down with a real pile-up, including Chris Chelios and Benoit Hogue.
Denny Savard had a tough time stopping Doug Gilmour from going to the net off the draw, and Gilmour nearly put it in as the shot from the point came. Savard has to remember, watch this, he can't handle him. He tries, he knows what he's supposed to do, but then he lets him go. And look where Gilmour is if that puck had been loose.
Gilmour wins the draw again. McCowan's shot that hit a stick, went to the corner. And Gary Suter has it. What a game he's had. Denny Savard hit the linesman, and the puck turned back by the Leafs. Chelios back to touch it, and icing is the call. Chris Chelios. Before that last whistle had played 33 minutes, 21 seconds.
Well, with 10 minutes played in overtime, that's a little down for Chelios. He's usually up to that mark in the regulation. But this is also a time when coaches look up and down the bench, know their guys are getting tired, and throw a fresh guy out on a line. And the next thing you know, that fresh guy gets a chance to end the game.
Thinking back to Peter Klima, who was so fresh in that Stanley Cup marathon against Boston. I think he sat out 3 periods before scoring the game winner.
Well, it happens every once in a while, but it happens just as often, Chris, when you do that, that fresh guy costs you the overtime goal. So there's 2 edges to most swords.
Ridley and Nichols dueling. And Ellett from the faceoff. Tried to feed Wood, broken up by Nichols. So Gill will have to try. Up for Randy Wood on left wing. He sends it cross ice. Sundin speeding in. Here's Sundin. Wrap around.